Hi, Tom Kubinek with Secure Tactical. We are here at Gunsight Academy for our first fire event. I've got Linda Powell, who's Director of Business Development with Mossberg, and Mossberg supplied the firearms for this event, and the participants are all taking home the gun they're training with.
That's correct.
Which I gotta just, first off, just say thank you to you and Mossberg for supporting the event and everything you guys are doing.
Well, thank you for letting us be part of it. And I think it's a great partnership because one of the keys to Mossberg, we really believe if you're a firearm owner, you need to be a responsible one.
Yeah.
And that means storing it properly. And I think one of the keys too, we were the first gun company to actually ship all of our guns with a gun lock. So we really do it. Yeah, we really do encourage people to store and take care of their firearms responsibly.
That's, a lot. I tell everybody, I'm an expert in my field until you remove the firearm from my fast access safe, and then I'm no longer the expert. That's not my skill set, but a lot of people come to me, a lot of family and friends talking about buying the first gun, and I always tell them, say, look, it's a lifestyle change. It's not simply, you can buy a gun and put it in your closet. It's probably making you at greater risk.
Correct.
However, it's a lifestyle. If you want to be a firearms owner responsible, it's finding the correct firearm, getting the training, and then practice. And most people that I talk to that buy their first firearm who really aren't gun people,
right? And
they get involved, they're going to the range or shooting, and it's funny because they come back. It's about 3 months later, Tom, I want to get a rifle. I said, look, I'm not the guy to talk to, but here is a people to talk to. And it's fun to see people who truly spent most of their lives on the other side of that fence, that Second Amendment fence.
Right.
And when the government decided or cities decided that we're not going to pay law enforcement to do their job, we're going to just kind of let things go a little bit. A lot of people realize for the first time in their lives that your safety and security is your responsibility.
Starts with you.
It is. And so many people, they don't realize, oh yeah, I'm prepared for anything. Are you really? You walk them through a few scenarios and very quickly they're like, no, I guess I'm not. So anyhow, thank you very much. It's great to have you here. It's great to sit down and talk. So walk me through.
Sure. So what we have here, for people who don't know, most of the time when you think Mossberg, you think long guns, particularly shotguns.
Yep.
But a little bit of history, Mossberg's a little over 100 years old, and the very first gun that the company manufactured was a pistol, a little .22 pistol, and did so for about 13 years. And then we got into long guns, but coinciding with our 100th anniversary in 2019, we decided we wanted to get back into the handgun market. So we spent a lot of time, basically 4 or 5 years, doing the research to really determine what do people want in a concealed carry handgun. So we really tried to incorporate all that into the gun. So the series is the MC2. And then we have a subcompact, which is what the ladies are shooting. And then I have my MC2C, which is a compact version. Right. Not a lot of differences, a little longer barrel length here and a little greater capacity. But as far as overall dimensions of the gun, they're very similar. What I'll point out here, too, you'll notice all of our pistols now come with an optic cut. Right. So you can directly mount a microdot optic to the receiver, to the slot of the gun. Mm-hmm. And so that's just great for, particularly new shooters, helping them to learn to shoot a little more accuracy. Right. Older shooters, I've been someone I struggled quite a bit with my handgun shooting, not realizing it was my eyes. Once I put a red dot on, it made a big difference. But some of the features I really love about this, we talk about when people go in to buy a handgun, the first thing they really do is grip it.
Yeah, how's it feel?
And that was one of the things we really focused on here, because if you don't get past the grip test and then the next is going to be the trigger, they're probably going to put it down and move on. So what we've done here is we've got a bit of a palm swell. We angled it very similar to a 1911. Mm-hmm. The texturing here is Mossberg's signature texturing. So, it just fits really nicely in a wide range of hands, whether you have smaller hands, large hands. That's really key. Moving forward with the trigger, as I mentioned, we did a flat face trigger. It has a very nice, clean break, has a very distinct reset. You can hear it. Okay. Trigger pull set about at 5 pounds from the factory in that neighborhood. Has a 3.5-inch barrel. These are stainless with DLC coating on both the slide and the barrel, so that's the diamond-like coating.
Right.
Really provides durability. I love the fact that we have serrations at the front and rear to really help with manipulation of the gun. The trigger guard here is enlarged also to help if you've got gloves. Mag release here. It's also reversible for a right left-hand shooter. We have models that come with a, I've drawn a blank here.
Just start the sentence again.
Okay.
We have models that come with.
Yes. We have models here that also come with a manual safety, and that manual safety is also reversible. So all guns come with 2 magazines, one flush and one extended. So in the compact version, the subcompact version, it's 11 and 14 rounds. In this, it's 14 and 16 round magazines.
Okay.
The other thing I really love too, if you notice here, one of the things that I take great pride in is to break down this gun, to clean it or do maintenance. You must put the gun in a safe position, meaning that it's unloaded. You do not have to touch the trigger to break it down. So you actually just depress this little slide here pops off. You can remove the striker, then push the slide forward and take it down very easily.
Okay.
So it's
without ever putting your hand on the trigger.
No hand on the trigger. The gun has to be unloaded because the slide has to be back magazine out.
Right. I don't know the statistics on how many people discharge a firearm. Again, you're preventing it's a what do you call it? A careless mistake, but people still make them.
Yeah.
But now I was fast. I mean, it's a narrow gun. I mean, but it's still, again, everybody. They're very particular. I saw it and I go, oh, that's gonna be too small. I put it up, I'm just like, that's not so bad. So it's having the ball, having the shape of that grip.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't have tiny hands, but it feels pretty good.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And the beauty of that, though, it keeps it very concealable. Mm-hmm. So it's very comfortable to shoot. I think everybody's shooting it very well. But yet, if you want a gun that you can conceal, it's not going to really blueprint on when you're carrying it.
Now, do you see statistically the number of people that are actually taking the time to get concealed carry, doing the training and carrying? That I got to believe that's growing quickly.
Well, I guess in listening to Gunsight, what they were saying, I mean, their participation here in their basic 250 class has been growing every year substantially. And I think most people that, particularly first-time gun owners, they're taking that responsibility seriously. They want the training. Yeah. And I think, it's really important. I think that's the first step you should take as a gun owner.
Do you do anything to get behind the training side of firearms? Kind of like, when you go into the real low-end market on firearms, it's kind of dump it kind of mentality. And you get more, it's like, what does Mossberg do to spread that message?
Well, one of the things we do, we have on our website too, we have a lot of blog posts and entries, and they're geared toward new and first-time shooters. Right. I mean, basic things, how do I take care of it? How do I store it? How do I clean it? How do I load it? So we really try to provide that education. And also work with other people in the industry that are doing that. Right, so we try to support a lot of organizations. We're a great partner with Gunsight too, as I said. Right. We believe in getting professional training.
Well, when the range master at Gunsight has got your gun on his holster, clearly there's something that's a statement being made, because he can carry anything he wants.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up, because that's something I like to point out. When we bring out a new product, we bring it out here to Gunsight to try it out. Yeah. And we bring engineers along because there's nothing tougher than all the wind, the dust, the drills that you put a gun through here. If something's going to break, it will here. And we've actually brought groups of people out here with our engineers and actually seeing it, a gun in a wide range of people's hands and how it's going to be used. We've actually gone back and incorporated changes before we released that product. So I think that's really important. You can shoot something in a controlled environment and not have issues, but when you get out in a real world situation,
you see it in automotive when they have the factory recalls on items. All the lab testing in the world is a certain way, but you come out, and especially the environment out here can be very harsh, and things get dropped, dust, all this stuff. When you watch people, there's no way an engineer can anticipate.
Right.
But then you see, and these guys, I got to say something. These guys, they're hard on gear by design. I mean, they're
Absolutely.
It's firearm as a tool.
That's right.
And it's. We all collect. I mean, I have some collection guns, but then the shooting guns they're just tools.
Well, and you've got to make sure. I mean, you don't want to be carrying something for your own personal defense that is not going to be reliable. Yeah. And so, I mean, that's the key. You really want to know that it's been fully tested and you can depend on it when your life is on the line.
Now, when did you guys start the process of going back into the handgun
So
market?
like I said, we introduced them in 2019, our first version, but we probably spent 4 or 5 years prior to that doing marketing research, actually looking at other guns and seeing what features we liked, what we didn't like. Our engineers really put a lot of time into it, and our executive team was backing it, because when you're not known for a particular platform, we're known for shotguns.
Yes, you are. I mean,
so we bring out a shotgun, people expect it to be a Mossberg product. But when you're moving to a new category like handguns, we knew we really had one opportunity to get it right. And so that was really important to us to make sure that we did that. So we started first with the MC1, which was the first variation of this, subcompact. And we realized from that release there were some things that we could do to improve it.
Right.
One of them, we've gone to a double stack magazine, metal magazine, so we can increase capacity. Again, we added the optic cut because I think they said something like 25% of their students here now are using red dots on their pistols. And
I do think, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but it seems to me, especially with smaller hands, it's much easier to rack this gun or to charge it with having the optic on there. It just seems...
That's one of the things too that we wanted to make sure of. A lot of times, and you know, I'm a woman, so I think I can say this, we just don't have the hand strength sometimes that men have either. And so that was one of the keys, making sure that you could easily manipulate the gun.
Yeah, there are some brands out there, I'm going to go into that where even I'm just like, holy cow! I'm just like,
Exactly.
it's a difficult. And this I was very surprised, like, wow, that works very well. Now, when we look at Mossberg, because I think Mossberg, I immediately go to Mossberg 500.
Right.
That's what I have in my home. I've a couple of them, and they're so simple. And they just work, and they work I don't care what I do to it, I know it's going to work. From a handgun standpoint, how is the handgun in this? Is it changing Mossberg, or do you see, I mean, in terms of growth, in terms of, are you guys is this bringing you a whole new market of?
Oh, absolutely. You know, obviously, there's a lot of brand loyalty. So if someone is already a Mossberg customer, then they're going to be very likely to look at our handguns. But what it's done is open the door for other people to look at Mossberg who maybe aren't into long guns, but do know of Mossberg and our reliability, our durability, and that's what we wanted to bring to this product as well.
And do you have right now, is there a long wait time to get? I know in so many areas, it's hard to get a firearm sometimes.
Well, it is. You know, we're in pretty good shape on the handguns, but I would say in general, people should still expect there to be backlogs in firearms. I mean, we've come from during the height of COVID and during that time of kind of civil unrest, we had as much as 18 months in backlog. Yeah. And, you know, that's really challenging when someone wants to get a product and they're not available.
Well, the challenge that the unfortunate side is they settle.
Right.
And what is available? Well, what's available is kind of what people may not really want and there's a reason behind that.
Right.
And when you take quality made and ergonomically correct, and that's a huge part of this, it's tough. So people looking to get into this, plan ahead.
Plan ahead, but I would say realistically, you know, you're looking at more of like probably, you know, you will probably find some on the shelf, but if you have to order one, it might be a 3 or 4 month wait.
Okay. But I'm in New York State. If you're a first time shooter, you're from paperwork to training to the process. You know, you're looking at that kind of time anyhow. Right. And I believe you can place the order. If I know the shop, you can place the order. They can't deliver it. They can't do the FFL work until you have the license, but you can place the order and then do the training.
Correct.
And you know, that's a message for anybody looking to get into looking at their first firearm. Place the order. It commits you to getting it done.
Right.
And then going through, because again, the training is so important. People who don't know, the training is a lot of fun.
I look forward to it. You know, in fact, I put a post on social media. It's kind of like going to the happiest place on earth when I get to come out to gun sight.
Yeah. I was out here today. I'm going. Wish I was shooting too.
You'll have to come back and take a class.
Absolutely, I'm going to come back. I'm going to bring bring the boys out and maybe a family event. I'm not sure if.
I think it's a great family event, and they do offer some classes though for youth. You know, but you can. I know a number of people have come out with their sons or daughters
Yeah.
and taken classes together.
Now, as far as how long have you been with Mossberg?
Well, I've been with Mossberg a little over 12 years now. I've been in the industry, though, for close to 28 years.
Okay. So were you born and raised with firearms?
No.
That's interesting.
My story is really kind of unusual. I did grow up in a family. I grew up in the South, and I knew that my grandfather went hunting, but that meant he just went away for the weekend,
Right.
and he came back with some venison, maybe. Never shot a gun, and I kind of grew up very much a city girl. Didn't do too much in the outdoors, and then as I got a little bit later in life, I actually worked in the medical field, but just was looking for something different. And I had heard that a firearms manufacturer was moving to my area. And I was simply thinking this would be a great opportunity for me to get on board with a large corporation. I wasn't
Right.
thinking anything about working in the gun industry. You
Right,
know?
right.
So I actually got hired as an administrative assistant
Okay.
in the PR department. But they told me up front, it's a job in the office if that's what you want it to be. But if you'd like to learn to shoot, we'll work with you. So some of the guys in the office took me out for a day at the range, and I shot a few guns. And then they said, would you like to go to a Becoming an Outdoor Woman program? Which, if you're not familiar with, a lot of states offer those. It gives you an opportunity to go in for a weekend away with other women and try lots of different outdoor activities.
Right.
So they have shooting, but they also have outdoor cooking and map reading and all kinds of things. And so I went and did that. And then the next progression was the guy said, do you want to try hunting? Well, because of my biology background, I understood wildlife management, but I had never thought about hunting. And I'm like, sure, why not? So they arranged for my first hunt. And I always laugh when I tell this story because this will tell you how naive I was. My first hunt was a black bear hunt with a muzzleloader.
Okay.
I don't think most people start out that way, at least.
That's
But I went and I was successful. And I can tell you from that moment when I walked up and to that bear, I looked at it and I said to myself, my life has changed and I'm a hunter now.
Mhm.
But I really had no clue at that point what it meant and in what direction my life would go. Then moving forward a few years, I continued to work there with that manufacturer and advanced. Worked my way up to the manager of the department, started to hunt pretty extensively.
right.
Stayed with them for 15 years and then made the move over to Mossberg and handle our media relations and advertising and some other marketing activities. So.
And now you travel. Do you travel all over the country, all over the world? I mean, I know you're out and about all the time.
I am. I love what I do, but I also love representing Mossberg and getting out and sharing the story of Mossberg. Typical for me is at least 2 trips a month. Most of the time it's 3 to 4.
Mm-hmm.
I put together events similar to what we're doing
Right.
here. Media events, a lot of hunts, but shooting events, training activities, any way to promote Mossberg and our products.
Now, where do you see kind of you can talk about this kind of the future. Where do you see this program? I mean, are you guys looking at additional models at
Sure.
expanding out the hand? I mean, as you get success in this and breaking into this market that you're not in, it's a huge market. I mean, it's bigger than the shotgun market, isn't it?
Oh, it's extremely competitive.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
That's the thing. And we went into it knowing that, and we knew it was going to take some time.
Yep.
And we're in it for the long haul. I mean, obviously, we've been very strategic about it. We're not going to jump in and build a lot of different models.
Okay.
We're really trying to figure out what works for us. And Mossberg, our philosophy is really about building the best possible quality product at a very affordable price.
Right.
Because we really want people to get involved with the hunting and shooting sports. And to do that, we want them to have a reliable tool at a price they can afford. So that's what we're always looking at. But, we're also very innovative. So we're looking at ways to give you more. So I'm sure we'll be adding to it. There's not anything immediate coming out that I can
That's
try
right.
to tell you about if you're looking for a little.
Right.
But yes, we're in this category and we plan to stay in it. So I'll look to see more coming from us.
It's exciting. I will share that the very first gun I ever bought, which I purchased in 2006, was a Mossberg 500.
Well, you couldn't have made a
That
better
was
choice.
It was a police virgin clap. I mean, it was home defense, and it was also secure. We were going into retail. I'd been working in the military side, and I wasn't not a gun person. I shot a lot. I wasn't a hunter.
Right.
And it wasn't I lived in Los Angeles as a guitarist for many years, and it just wasn't part of the world. So once I started going to read, I said, I've got to learn this.
Yeah.
So I started doing some reading, saying, okay, I got a shotgun. Started there, and then went to rifles, and I'm primarily I like to long range shoot. I rifle shoot, and I do not currently have a New York State. We relocated to New York State. We do not have a New York State permit. We get the class coming up, and this will be my first firearm.
Great.
And it's truly because I was looking at what do I want. I knew nothing against Glocks. I've shot a lot of Glocks. I've done a lot of training classes, and a lot of training events,
Right.
and I just find for me, I can't stabilize. It's not a stable platform for me because of the way my hand is shaped.
Yeah.
And this one, I'm going, that looks kind of small. Put it like, oh, because when you put it, you
Yes.
know that this is not gonna. I'm gonna get recoil, but I'm not. The gun's not gonna shift position, and that was kept with the wrong gun. You shoot it, and yes, there's recoil, but the gun has changed position, and now I can't come back unless I'm manipulating.
Yeah,
and that's I end up getting like a bliss. Things happen because you're compensating.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that's kind of the key. That's what we really work toward. Like I said, getting that right palm swell. The texturing's really, I think, important. It needs to be aggressive, but not overly aggressive, because you want to be able to keep a good grip on it.
Right, and it feels like you're holding, even your hands are wet or sweaty.
Yes.
You still got good grip. Now, do you market these into law enforcement?
We are starting to,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, I didn't know because
It's not typically, they don't go with like the subcompacts and that
Okay,
sort of thing.
okay.
So, but there are some departments that allow the officers to choose. So
Right.
we do try
Okay,
to make
yeah, because
that
you guys
available.
you really are focused on concealed carry.
We really are. I mean,
Yeah,
that's the biggest piece of the pie if you look at
Okay.
it. I mean, that's the largest segment in the market. And that's what we've talked about. Where does it make the most sense? 9mm actually the most popular.
Yep.
A concealable capacity comes into play, price point. We kind of try to put all that together in this package, and that's what we were looking at.
But it's also that forces you and it commits you to performance because in a concealed carry environment, that's the highest performance aspect of owning firearms
Right.
is concealed carry. Because you can buy all sorts of fancy guns
Yeah.
that you can shoot at the range, but you're never going to think about, concealed carry. So it's you guys kind of went into this with the idea of let's work our asses off and let's go after let's go after the toughest thing. Let's go after the part that makes the biggest difference.
Exactly.
That's why I commend you guys for doing it because
Well, I think it was a natural fit for us because you brought it up. We're known really as a defensive shotgun.
Yeah,
I mean, when you're
yes, you
talking
are.
about the 500, and it's been used in all 5 branches of the military, and it has been for many, many years. So I think that was definitely the direction we wanted to go into. That you having that confidence as a consumer that if you buy this product, it's going to have that kind of reliability.
absolutely. Well, where are we going now with that? I got to figure out how long have we been going? Is there anything else we have not covered that you want to talk about?
No, not unless you want to talk about other guns or anything. No, I'm fine.
I'll ask you about other Mossberg guns. Let me just say, so if you're talking to first-time buyers and about firearms, what are your thoughts on progression? Like people buy their first gun, and then you buy a second one. I mean, truly home defense, decentralized storage. I'm thinking three firearms in my home to truly, unless I'm going to carry in my home, which I don't think I would. I'm thinking of 3 locations where I would have secured firearms. I handgun, but then I've also my front door. I keep a shotgun.
Right.
So how do you see that? I mean, what would be your recommendations or your thoughts for what people should consider first time buyers or people new in the firearms industry?
And that's a question I get asked a lot. What would you recommend for home personal defense? Right. And I think there are a lot of factors that come into play. First of all, are there other people in your house? And if so, would they potentially be shooting the gun as well? And their level of skill and training. So, I mean, a handgun's obviously a great choice. A lot of times I direct people, though, to a shotgun, and a lot of times I go with a pump action.
Yep.
Because if you have people in the household who aren't particularly gun savvy, most people can operate a pump action shotgun or very quickly learn to.
Right.
And you also can go with one that has less recoil. So you don't have to get a 12 gauge. You could look at a 20 gauge.
Right.
And that's a lot of times the direction I go in with people if they're looking for what's that one gun for personal defense. The other thing is I think it's great to have a rifle of some sort, and then you've got a lot of options.
Right.
You could use a lever action, you could use the AR. Even some bolt action platforms are perfectly appropriate for home defense. Like you, I think whether you're talking about the hunting market or the personal defense market, I think at a minimum you're talking about at least 3 guns.
Yep.
If you're on the hunting side, you're talking about probably having a rimfire rifle, a centerfire rifle, and a shotgun. Yeah. Same kind of concept on the home defense. You really need to be prepared for whatever may be presented. I think, starting with 3 guns is the right approach. I laugh because when I started later in life, I thought, surely you must not need more than 3 guns. Well, then I realized it's really not about need.
No, well, I bought the pump action for the reason of, again, not at the time, everything was new to me. It's deliberate action to move the rifle. Whereas a semi-automatic, if you're unskilled, you fire it, you can get a second firing. If you don't have trigger discipline, but the pump is everything about that gun is deliberate.
Right.
I am working it through the cycle, and I like lever action. Nowadays I have, from a home defense standpoint, I have every home defense firearm that I would ever need set up in a way that I would use them. Right. When I go to look at firearms, I almost exclusively I look at my last purchases, and it's been vintage old lever action guns. I hunt with. This last year, I hunted with iron sight, lever action, 30-30, and another odd caliber, old Winchester. Just because it's fun.
Exactly, and I think that's what people forget so often. We're talking about personal defense here, but just shooting and going out and shooting at the range, I think people forget how much fun it can be. Yeah, it's all my kids learn to shoot, and we got a lot of video, a lot of photographs, and it's always all smiles. I've done a lot of training with my boys on tactical side of tactical carbine classes and things. So it's for first-time people, put the message out there, you guys. It's first-time gun owners. It can be a family event, and going to don't be intimidated by the idea that it's guns. You come to a place like Gunsight, and their 0-day class where they bring you in starts off, and it moves so. It starts off very basic, very simple, and it progresses so systematically. There's never a point where you're going to feel like you're over your head. No, and they cater to such a wide range of people with level of skill. Even in the same class, they can tailor it for each individual person. I want to share something personal, though, that I just thought about when we were talking there. I'm actually a single mom. Now, my son's grown. But when he was younger, there's not many things that a teenage boy wants to go do with his mom and hang out. It's not very cool. But we actually would go to the range and shoot, and I took him on a couple of hunts. And it was something that he could do with his mom that was seen as cool. It's not embarrassing to go with your mom and go shooting.
Now, does he still hunt?
He didn't get the hunting bug like me, but I will say where it really pays off, he is a great cook, and he loves to cook wild game. There you go. So nice trade-off there. He loves to shoot, though. He's more like shooting at the range, target shooting, that sort of thing. But he didn't get the hunting bug.
The hunting thing for me, I try to explain it to my wife, and she's going to come out, and she's not interested in hunting. I said, honey, get up early, come out to me. I want you to put you in a tree stand and just watch the forest wake up. Because I'll come back, 4 or 5 hours out there, and she's like, nothing. I said she was tough today. I said, no, honey, I had an amazing morning. I said, honey, the forest waking up, the things you see and hear as the sun comes up and everything, and it goes through all the phases. Yes, that's the best part. I mean, the making the shot that's great, and that happens for me. I was out with a bow. Like a lot. I had never had a shot this year. I've got a video of 2 young bucks. We don't take anything smaller than 6 point. Right. Underneath my tree stand, sparring, just walk slowly, working away. I shot a whole video of it. And that's the kind of stuff that you're so tied into nature.
Yes, that's what I tell people all the time. Hunting, the shooting part is this, like you said, that small portion. Yeah. but just the experience of being out in the field, and like
Yep.
you said, observing things that you never would otherwise.
No, it's
I find it just being very peaceful, and
yep.
after a certain point in time, you realize you're not thinking about anything. You're just
No,
really enjoying the moment.
That's just no. I mean, I used to bring my cell phone, and I've got some redneck lines. We call them condos.
Right.
We got a bunch of them on our hunting ranch. But you set up on one of those. I've got a friend of mine. He says, "Oh yeah, Tommy, he sets it with a laptop. He's doing work." And I'm going, I did that. And I went out there. I'm like, "This is great." I'm going like,
No.
I came home from that. I'm just like, yeah. I go, "Honey, look, I'm gonna have my phone with me. I'm not gonna have it on. I'm okay. I'll send you a text every hour or something." But no, I find that if I'm using the phone, I'm going like, what am I doing? So I went back to just sitting there in the dark,
Yeah.
waiting for the sun to come up.
Enjoying the moment.
Yep, and just clearing your head. Well, I want to thank you so much for sitting down, spending some time kind of running through what's new and what's happening with Mossberg, and for your support with this event. This is the first. I see a whole series of these events. I think it's going to grow. 3 years down the road, I think fire events will become things that people are just going to want to go to. And with the crew of people between Karen, you, and places like Gunsight, I think we're on to something here.
Oh, it's great. I love what I'm seeing happening out on the range.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, guys, for joining us. You want to learn more about Mossberg, Google Mossberg, same with Secure It, and take a look at Gunsight Academy. We're out in just north of Prescott, Arizona. Great place to spend a few days with your family or by yourself. It's the largest, it's the number one
Training facility in the world.
In the world, yeah. It's an amazing place. All right, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.